Welcome to my channel Alane Signal. The first thing everyone noticed about Elara Voss was how quiet she was. Not shy, just still. In a school where noise bounced endlessly between steel lockers and synthetic glass walls, where students shouted, laughed, argued, and streamed their lives across augmented feeds, Elara moved like a shadow slipping between moments. She spoke only when necessary, her voice calm, almost too calm for someone her age. But no one really cared. Not at Orion Sector Academy. Because Orion wasn't just a school, it was a fortress floating above a fractured planet, designed to educate the elite children of powerful colonies. Beneath its polished corridors ran layers of security systems, surveillance drones, and reinforced hull plating. It was supposed to be the safest place in the quadrant. Supposed to be. On the morning it all changed, the sky outside the station burned a dull crimson. Most students thought it was just another atmospheric anomaly. Only Elara noticed the pattern in the shifting clouds, the subtle distortions that didn't belong to weather. Ships. Cloaked. Waiting. She sat in the back of classroom 7A, her fingers lightly tapping the edge of her desk. Not nervously, calculating. Her teacher droned on about interstellar treaties, unaware that something was terribly wrong. Elara's gaze shifted to the door, then to the walls, then to the ceiling vents. 3 entry points. No, 4, if they breached the hull. Her pulse didn't rise. It slowed. They've found me. She had known this day would come. She just hadn't expected it to happen here. It started with a flicker. The lights dimmed for half a second, barely noticeable. But Elara stood up. Sit down, Miss Voss, the teacher snapped, irritated. She didn't respond. Instead, she walked to the window and stared into the crimson haze. Now she could see them clearly, faint silhouettes phasing into visibility. Drop ships. Armed. Descending. The alarms hadn't triggered yet. That meant one thing. They had already hacked the system. The teacher sighed. If you're not going to participate. The door exploded inward. The blast threw half the class to the floor. Smoke filled the room, and through it stepped figures clad in matte black armor, helmets glowing with cold blue visors. Assassins. Professional. Precise. Their weapons were already raised. Everyone stay down. One of them barked. Students screamed, scrambling beneath desks, pressing themselves against walls. But the assassins weren't looking at them. They were looking at Elara. Target confirmed, another voice said through a comm unit. Elara Voss located. The room fell silent. 30 terrified students. One target. Elara tilted her head slightly. So they came themselves this time. Come quietly, the leader ordered. You're worth more alive. A faint smile touched her lips. I don't think so. The first assassin fired. A pulse round streaked toward her. And missed. Elara moved before anyone even saw her start. She stepped sideways with impossible speed, the blast scorching the wall behind her. The second assassin fired. She ducked, grabbed a fallen chair, and hurled it with brutal precision. It slammed into his weapon, knocking the shot off course. Confusion rippled through the attackers. She's enhanced, one muttered. Understatement. Elara grabbed the edge of a desk and flipped it forward, using it as cover as more shots tore through the room. Students screamed again, but now they were crawling away, escaping through the shattered doorway. Good, she thought. Fewer variables. The assassins advanced. They were trained for this. Coordinated. Efficient. But they weren't ready for her. Elara kicked the desk forward, sending it crashing into 2 of them, then lunged straight into the chaos. Her movements blurred. Too fast, too precise. She struck the first assassin at the throat, her fingers hitting a weak point in the armor. He dropped instantly. She spun, disarmed the second, and used his own weapon to fire point blank into his chest. The third tried to grab her. She broke his arm. Clean, without hesitation. Within seconds, 3 bodies hit the ground. The remaining assassins stepped back. Engage lethal protocols, the leader ordered. Energy blades ignited with a sharp hum. Elara exhaled slowly. So it begins. The hallway outside classroom 7A was chaos. Students ran in every direction, alarms finally blaring as emergency systems struggled to come online. More assassins flooded the corridor. They had sealed the exits. No one was leaving, except her. Elara stepped into the hallway, stepping over the fallen door. At least 20 of them now. All focused on her. You've caused enough trouble, the leader said, emerging behind his troops. Surrender. Elara glanced at the terrified students running past her. Then back at him. No, he sighed. Kill her. What followed wasn't a fight. It was a massacre, but not the kind they expected. Elara moved like something unbound by human limits. She used everything, the walls, the floor, even the attackers themselves. Every movement had purpose. An assassin lunged. She sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and redirected him into another, sending both crashing into a wall. Another fired. She vaulted over the blast, landed behind him, and struck with brutal efficiency. The hallway echoed with gunfire, metal impacts, and the sharp crack of bones. They tried to surround her. They failed. They tried to overwhelm her. They died, one by one, then two by two, then faster than anyone could track, the assassins fell. The polished white hallway turned into a battlefield, then into a graveyard, but Elara wasn't smiling anymore. Because she knew this wasn't the real attack. They never sent just one wave. The leader watched from a distance, his expression unreadable behind the visor. Phase 2, he said quietly. The ceiling above Elara exploded. Something massive dropped into the hallway. Not human, a war construct, towering, armored, designed for one purpose, destruction. Its glowing core pulsed as it locked onto her. Target acquired. Elara froze for just a moment. Even she hadn't expected that. The construct fired. The blast tore through the hallway, obliterating everything in its path. Elara barely dodged, the heat searing past her. This was different. This was dangerous. Good. The construct advanced, each step shaking the structure of the station. Elara ran toward it. Not away. She leapt onto a wall, pushed off, and landed on its shoulder, striking at exposed joints. The construct reacted instantly, grabbing her midair and slamming her into the ground. The impact cracked the floor. For the first time, Elara felt it. Pain. She coughed, blood touching her lips. The construct raised its arm to finish it. Then paused. Her eyes met its core. And something changed. A flicker. Recognition. No. Memory. The construct hesitated, and in that hesitation, Elara moved. She drove her hand into its core. Energy surged violently, the machine convulsing as its systems overloaded. Override. Detected. It stuttered. Elara whispered something, soft, almost gentle. Sleep. The construct collapsed. Silence fell over the hallway. Only the leader remained. He stepped forward slowly, surveying the destruction. His entire team, gone. The construct, destroyed. And at the center of it all stood Elara. Breathing steadily, watching him. You've changed, he said. Elara didn't respond. He removed his helmet. His face was older, scarred, but familiar. You don't remember me, do you? A flicker crossed her expression. I remember enough. He smiled faintly. Then you remember what you are. Elara's gaze hardened. I know what you made me. He nodded. Then you know why we can't let you exist. He moved faster than the others. Much faster. Their clash shook the hallway, sending debris flying as skill met skill. He knew her patterns, anticipated her moves, matched her strength. For the first time, Elara was on the defensive. "You are our greatest creation," he said between strikes. "The perfect weapon." "I'm not your weapon," she snapped. He struck her hard enough to send her crashing into a wall. "You were built for this." Elara stood slowly. "No," she said. "I chose something else." She attacked again, faster, sharper, more focused than before. Not just instinct. Not just programming. Choice. The fight turned. Bit by bit, she pushed him back. Until finally, she disarmed him, pinned him, and held his own blade to his throat. For a moment, neither moved. "You won," he said quietly. Elara's grip tightened. She could end it. End everything. All the pain. All the past. All the people who would come after her. Her hand trembled, then steadied. "No," she said softly. She lowered the blade. "I'm done being what you made me." The leader stared at her. Then, slowly, he smiled. "Then you'll have to run," he said. "Because they won't stop." Elara stepped back. "I know." Hours later, Orion Sector Academy was in ruins. Emergency crews flooded the station. Authorities tried to piece together what had happened. But there was no clear answer. Only one certainty. Elara Voss was gone. Somewhere beyond the crimson sky, a small ship drifted silently through space. Inside, Elara sat alone, watching the stars. She didn't know where she was going. Only that she couldn't stay. Because they would come again. Stronger, more prepared. And next time, they wouldn't underestimate her. Elara closed her eyes. And for the first time in a long time, she smiled. "Let them wait," she whispered. Next time, her eyes opened, sharp and unafraid. "I'll be ready." And far behind her, in the shattered halls of a once perfect school, the silence still remembered what she had done. They had waited outside, but she had turned the school into a killing zone, and walked away, alive. Thank you for listening. Subscribe for more cinematic science fiction stories.